I'm getting some texts, in particular from my nephews who are right now, because news has broken that Conor McGregor has been suspended for 18 months.
Khabib Nurmagomedov couldn't resist taking a quiet jab at his own old rival after the news broke that Conor McGregor had been hit with an 18-month suspension for violating the UFC's anti-doping policy.
I tell you this, to promote on its own is easy, and also, coincidentally, to fight on its own is easy. People don't really realize that. You know, you get these fighters, they come up and it's no one cares about you. You rock in under the radar, no one asks you a question. You get to show up and have fun and do your thing. Then when you rise, you've got to add this promotional anthem to it. And both of them combined is incredibly draining. And I wouldn't be the first to tell you, it almost broke me. And to be honest, maybe it did break me as I went on and I achieved massive success and global, out of this otherworldly superstardom. It overcame me at times. So to promote and fight at a high level deserves support and respect.
When the announcement spread across social media, Khabib shared an ESPN post about the story, but in true fashion, he cropped the image so McGregor's face didn't appear. He didn't add a caption or a reaction, letting the post itself do the talking. It was a subtle reminder of their bitter rivalry, especially coming just days after Khabib posted a throwback video celebrating his dominant victory over McGregor 7 years ago. The suspension, which shocked fans around the world, wasn't the result of a failed drug test. Instead, it stemmed from McGregor missing 3 separate testing appointments during 2024. The Combat Sports Anti-Doping Organization, also known as CSAD, determined that the Irishman had failed to provide his location information on 3 different dates: June 13th, September 19th, and September 20th. Under the UFC's anti-doping policy, missing 3 tests in a 12-month span is treated the same as a failed test. Because of this, McGregor was declared ineligible to compete until March 20th, 2026. The UFC's official statement confirmed that McGregor cooperated fully with the investigation and accepted responsibility for his actions. They also revealed that CSAD considered the fact that he was recovering from an injury during the time of the missed test and wasn't in fight preparation. Taking that into account, the standard 2-year ban was reduced by 6 months. Even with that reduction, it delays McGregor's long-awaited comeback once again.
Drake Riggs writing, Conor McGregor's return to combat sports has been further delayed. On Tuesday, UFC announced that the former UFC featherweight and lightweight champion has been suspended for 18 months after violating the whereabouts policy under the promotion's anti-doping program. Through Combat Sports Anti-Doping, which is CSAD, that's the new anti-doping organization that they're linked with after moving on from USADA, McGregor missed 3 testing samples within a 12-month window on the dates of June 13th, September 19th, and September 20th, 2024. McGregor, 37, was initially to be suspended for 24 months until further cooperation prompted a reduction down to 18 months. UFC stated his suspension will be retroactive to the last date of his missed testing. This is the very important part, meaning he won't be eligible to return to competition until March 20th, 2026. So, if you are a fan of Conor McGregor and you just want to see him fight on the White House card, this is much ado about nothing, because you say to yourself, oh, he's good until, he's good as of, I should say, March 21st. Great. If you are someone who believes that, he doesn't play by the rules, and yeah, okay, this is significant. So it's kind of the way in which you want to slice it. But this doesn't so when my nephews are texting me, it's like, oh, now he can't fight on the White House card. No, if you just read suspended 18 months, you're like, oh shit, he's not fighting on the White House card. But then you have to understand that it's retroactive to June, or I guess September of last year. And now you realize that he's good to go as of March 20th.
The decision means McGregor won't be eligible to fight again until spring 2026, but the timing might actually work in his favor. His suspension will end just before the UFC's highly anticipated White House event scheduled for June 14, 2026. The card, organized to celebrate 250 years of American independence, has been a major talking point ever since US President Donald Trump announced his plans to host a UFC event on the White House lawn. McGregor immediately threw his name into the mix for that show, and given his global fame, many fans believe he's still the front runner to headline.
It can ignite a support for the people of Ireland.
Is this a done deal?
Because we need.
Are you definitely? Is this a done deal? You're in.
Done deal, signed, delivered. It ain't a negotiation.
Wow.
It's a done deal, signed, delivered.
McGregor will compete in the White House for UFC's 200 for the America's 250th birthday.
Did you talk to Dana about it? Dana's got to sign off, I would imagine, no?
Me and Dana are in constant communications. We've done incredible business together. I'm the highest generating fighter of all time in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. They've just signed a breathtaking deal with Paramount, where we go to cable TV. $7.7 billion that deal was accrued for, and ready to rock, baby. Bring in the big dog, the Mac G.
For now, though, this setback extends McGregor's already lengthy absence from competition. He hasn't fought since July 2021, when he suffered a devastating leg break against Dustin Poirier. Over the years, his fighting career has been interrupted by injuries, legal issues, and multiple controversies. Since his iconic 13-second knockout of Jose Aldo back in 2015, McGregor has only fought 7 times inside the octagon, losing 4 of those bouts, including each one to Nate Diaz, Khabib Nurmagomedov, and to Poirier. Despite his record, his star power remains unmatched, which is why every update on his career still dominates headlines.
Well, guys, Conor McGregor is suspended. Yes, guys, Conor McGregor is serving an 18-month suspension for the UFC's anti-doping policy. But here's the thing, guys, okay? Before y'all freak out, upon further inspection, because I started to freak out, his suspension is going to end in March of 2026. And for everybody thinking, oh well, there goes the White House card, that's not true, because the White House card is going to go down in June, and like I said, he's going to come off the suspension in March. Just enough time to go right into his training camp and box the bloody nose off Michael Chandler. But yes, what I'm seeing, this man Conor McGregor, to nobody's surprise, apparently failed to take 3 different drug tests for the UFC, and they said that's not gonna fly, so he has to serve an 18-month suspension. But luckily, it looks like it's not gonna affect his return. Now, of course, there could still be more things pop up. Conor McGregor has not been the most innocent guy ever, but as of right now, it looks like his plans to return at the UFC White House event are still on. And I'm gonna be honest, when I saw the news, when I saw breaking news, Conor McGregor suspended, bro, I thought we were cooked. I thought he was officially done, never going to come back, but I was wrong. People are not looking too far into this. He's still planning to fight at the UFC White House event. But anyway, guys, let me know what y'all think down below.
The anti-doping case itself raised eyebrows because McGregor has never actually failed a test. His punishment is purely for missing testing appointments and failing to update his whereabouts in the UFC's app, something all fighters are required to do daily. The system ensures that athletes can be tested at any time without notice. While this policy is meant to maintain integrity in the sport, some find it unnecessarily invasive. Among those who questioned the process was veteran MMA journalist Ariel Helwani, who called the situation strange. He pointed out that UFC fighters are independent contractors, yet they are required to constantly report their daily locations for potential testing. Helwani felt that this level of surveillance could be exhausting and overly restrictive, even for professional athletes. Still, the rules are clear, and McGregor's lack of compliance cost him dearly.
There's no beating around the bush here. You recall in 2023 when the relationship with USADA and the UFC fizzled, he was kind of at the center of all of it. And he has talked openly about, removing himself from the testing pool in order to get back to 100%. Missing tests or not being where you are supposed to be will result in strikes. And if you miss 3, as they are saying he did, you get suspended. Any thoughts on this, guys? What do you guys say? What do you guys think? Much ado about nothing?
Much ado about nothing, but I do wonder why 18 months. It does feel particularly harsh. Like, I went back because I did remember that there were some other people. Yair Rodriguez got 6 months for the same offense, and Nick Diaz got 12 months for the same offense.
Interesting.
So why is Conor's 18? It just feels... I don't know if... Yeah.
Sorry, that it was 24 months and they're actually going down.
Yeah.
So
why was it initially 24 even? That's
yeah.
even more.
Well, that part is like you can kind of negotiate that, right, and then accept the terms. That's where they.
Well, by the way, if it's 24 months, he ain't fighting on the White House card.
Yeah, exactly. It's convenient that it would be 18 as opposed to 24. But why even either of those numbers when previously we have seen athletes in the same organization
is it possible
this is 12?
Is it possible that this is the second
could be
offense, meaning
the
sixth.
second time that he has
and
done
the first
12
one
months of.
wasn't.
Meanwhile, the CSAD clarified that while they took into account McGregor's cooperation and injury recovery, they had to emphasize the importance of maintaining transparency in testing procedures. For them, the ability to conduct surprise testing is critical to keep the sport clean and fair. McGregor's 3 missed tests, even if unintentional, still broke the rules. Interestingly, the missed tests happened during a turbulent period for McGregor. His planned comeback fight against Michael Chandler at UFC 303 in 2024 was cancelled after he suffered a toe injury. Around the same time, he was reportedly still recovering and not in training, which might explain why he wasn't consistently updating his whereabouts information. Despite that, the delay in announcing his suspension, more than a year after the missed tests, left fans confused and suspicious about the timing.
Another example of Conor doing everything he can to not fight. Wow. I would normally accuse a person asking that of being a dick. Conor McGregor's first missed test occurred on June 13th. He is facing no disciplinary action as of the first whereabouts violation, which happened on June 13th. There's no disciplinary action for that. It's a strike, it gets noted, the world won't even find out about it. You could get another strike. It gets noted, there's no disciplinary action, the world would never even find out about it. So I don't think that we have a conspiracy. I don't think that we've got something tied in. As far as the booking of the White House event, I realize that that's nothing more than conversation. I get it. But it makes me wonder, who knew? Who knew that Conor had this coming? Once there's 3 hits, there isn't a defense to that. You will have a hearing and you could raise your excuse, your reason. But in the history of drug testing, there's never been somebody that's attempted to defend that, that's attempted to come in and say, I was there. They didn't knock loud enough, right? Like something like that has never happened.
The Irish star has also been surrounded by several controversies outside the cage. In March 2022, McGregor was arrested in Dublin on multiple driving charges, including dangerous driving and failing to produce a license. He was later handed a 2-year driving ban and a suspended sentence. Then in 2023, 2 separate accusations emerged involving alleged assaults, one on a yacht in Ibiza, and another following an NBA Finals game in the US. The situation escalated in 2024 when a Dublin court ruled against him in a case involving Nikita Hand, ordering him to pay 250,000 euros in damages.
Conor McGregor is accused of raping a woman after NBA Game 4 of the final series.
The allegations are this, that he met up with a woman inside of the club at the arena. The woman's attorney claims that one of Conor's people then came back to her and said, hey, Conor wants to see you, led her into the bathroom and sexually assaulted her. So we got video that shows the interaction between the two outside of the restroom. Initially, she had claimed that NBA and Miami Heat security kind of cordoned her off, forced her into this bathroom where Conor was waiting for her, and the sexual assault was performed. Now this video has come out, and she, like you said, is now changing up the story to, well, he told me that he was going to go to the hotel, and when I went there, I thought he was taking me to the hotel, but in turn, he took me to the bathroom. Now, Conor is saying that this proves that she's essentially a liar.
While all these legal issues and now a suspension hanging over him, McGregor's focus on fighting has clearly been limited. However, this latest sanction doesn't necessarily spell the end. The timing could line up perfectly for him to make one more big money appearance on one of the most historic cards in UFC history, the White House event. Dana White, though, hasn't confirmed anything. The UFC CEO stated that no fighters have been officially booked for the card yet, despite McGregor's eagerness to headline. White acknowledged that McGregor is enthusiastic about fighting at the White House, but nothing has been finalized. Even so, McGregor's name being tied to the event is enough to generate massive hype.
Secondly, to be the first one to bring it up, Conor McGregor at the White House feels like every other day he's, making some public comments saying he's negotiating directly with the White House about getting the fight. It just feels like that's the most preeminent guy. Can you just talk about where talks are about Conor's return, White House or otherwise?
We're still talking about the production and how everything's going to work at the White House. We have not started negotiating any fights for the White House yet. That won't even start till February.
And then finally,
I made it clear Conor wants to fight on that card, and you can clearly see Conor is very fired up to fight on that card, but nothing is done yet. And no fights are being negotiated with the White House.
Not everyone in the MMA community is excited about the idea of McGregor returning to such a high-profile spot. Former UFC champion Demetrius Johnson expressed that he'd rather see active and deserving fighters get the spotlight instead of veterans like McGregor or Jon Jones. Johnson believes the White House card should showcase athletes who are currently active and earning their place through consistent performances, not those who have been inactive for years. He made it clear that while he respects what McGregor and Jones have done in the past,
somebody's iced, sitting there chilling, they get to pick and choose what they do. Maybe they earn that right. I have no idea, right? But for me, I want to see guys who are putting the fucking, rubber to the pavement. Brother, and all the accomplishment Jon Jones has done, it's amazing. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that if we got guys who are on the roster who are fucking fighting their asses off, they should have the first dibs to get on the White House. Even for Conor, we don't need his ass on the White House, right? But I know him and Donald Trump, they got some good things going. But I just don't want to see other athletes miss out on an opportunity that are fighting right now. But
and especially the White House card is going to be the ultimate casual attraction. So you're going to have the casual fans watching, and it might be easy to say, put on the big names. But no, the casual fans are watching. Put on the pinnacle of the sport. That's what we need to rep.
McGregor's suspension also comes amid growing debate about how anti-doping rules are enforced in combat sports. Some argue that the policies, while necessary, can be inconsistent and overly complicated. Others think the rules should apply equally to every fighter, regardless of their status. McGregor's case is unusual because his cooperation and injury led to a reduced sentence, something that doesn't always happen for lesser-known fighters. That difference in treatment has sparked conversations about favoritism within the UFC's anti-doping framework.
Was likely where they went. I believe he was likely on the other side of the door. I believe he willfully didn't answer that door. I don't have evidence of any of that. But if somebody's asking me the question, is this an elaborate way to avoid a fight? While I lean towards no, there's only a few possibilities. And not being where you told them you were, that could happen to a person of Conor's level once in a lifetime. He's being accused of it happening 3 times in a 12-month period, one of them back-to-back days. You tell me. What do you make of it?
Despite all the chaos, McGregor's name continues to dominate the conversation in combat sports. Whether it's controversy, comeback rumors, or viral moments, he remains one of the most talked about athletes in the world. His potential return at the White House card could mark one fine act in a career defined by extreme highs and lows. If he does make that comeback, it would be nearly poetic. The sport's biggest showman fighting at the most symbolic venue in America, just months after serving a suspension that once again put him in headlines for all the wrong reasons. Fans will keep debating whether McGregor still has that fire left in him or if his best days are behind him.